Hello and welcome. Yes. Still recording on my phone. Um, don't have a mic for my computer yet, but I'm working on it. And, but I know I keep starting different games, and I never finish them. I do want to get back to at least the Pokemon one, but I think this is going to be the one that I focus on first. I have the Android store version. I cannot talk properly. It's, let's do the middle one. And it's based off the DS version because in the original you can only marry two people when you get to that part of the game. But in the DS version, as you can see, little DS sprites, it looks real trippy on my phone. It's got like, it almost feels like I'm like looking at like a bunch of paper cutouts on like a lifelike board almost to me. I'm not sure how to describe it, but also I have my glasses on, so that might be it. But on this one, you get a third person. And this is my favorite game of all time, so I'll have a lot to say. But kind of the plan going forward is just you can capture monsters in this game. I won't disclose who I'll marry, but I'll marry the best girl, and so debates will happen. I'm gonna click slowly so you can read pretty much. Not a voice actor. Um, Although I do like narration and all that, I just can't do voices really. But I will marry best girl, and I will. My goal is to capture every monster in the game. I have a huge chart that shows me all the monsters. I can't remember who made it, but I'll check it in a minute because it says made by whatever on it, and I'll tell you who made it. And you could probably just search it, find it by searching it, Monster Chart, Dragon Quest V, or whatever else. And yeah, call me Coffee. Uh, so yeah, we're going to capture all the monsters, and from there I'll try and come up with some cool names for them or something. I mean, they come with names, but you can change them, of course, and all that. One of my favorite things about this scene is Pankraz, which is your father, says, "Hey, we should name him Madison," and that's because he's Mada's son. And I thought that was a real good joke, and which is also considered his canonical name because if you name him Madison, he requests to name him Erdrick, which is the name of the hero in Dragon Quest III. Pretty much every Dragon Quest game has a lore in 3. I have beaten 11, but haven't done the post game, like the true ending stuff quite yet. There's the rings. 3 rings for 3 women. Kinda cool, kinda cool. I don't know if that's actually why it's 3 rings. It's just it just looks cool. But regardless, we'll probably mess with some settings. Yeah, dream, being in a castle as a baby, blah blah blah. You're the son of the village chief. Alright, let's just move that over there, because I'm left-handed. Is there a way to shrink that down? Settings. Small. Confirm. Message speed. Let's make it 4, because I don't have the sound on, because then you literally can't hear me. As always, every game has that issue. I don't remember where everything is, but yeah, so this is a game when, for those of you who don't know, or don't know me that just kind of pop up here from YouTube or whatever else, a lot of people that are subscribed to me I've met through my life or whatever else, a lot of people from other fan bases like Paper Mario and all that. And but regardless, I played this game when I was in an orphanage. I had this in my DSi XL. I had this one and Dragon Quest VI. And Dragon Quest VI is really good as well. It's the first one I played, but this one is just like my favorite. And I've played it so many times, and it's kind of disappointing that I can't remember where everything is, but I remember most things. And I could probably remember stuff like that. or like the resiliency, because I remember my first playthrough I just kind of went because I didn't know you could destroy stuff or do that. And there's some small things I'll probably remember here and there, or I'll have a rough memory of it because I haven't played it because I wore the DS cartridge out, so I haven't played it since. And this is something I always forget. I always forget who to talk to get out of this little zone, so I just end up talking to everybody. Um, but yeah, so basically, oh yeah, all these treasure chests are locked, but these are still breakable, and I think there's something in one of these. I could be wrong. Beginning to think I'm wrong. Well, there's only 3 left. There it is. And so DS cartridge wore out. I got it when I was like 8. I believe that was around the same time it came out for DS. I think it was like 2008, so that would have been, yeah, I would have been 8 at the time. And so after that, I wore it out, and then I emulated it for a while on this, but I decided I've already bought 6. I've already bought 8. Now I'll plan on doing a playthrough of 6 as well, maybe. I don't want to do like all I play are RPGs, so it's kind of hard for me to be like, oh, I want to play not an RPG, but that's really all I play. Like even like just mobile games like Fire Emblem Heroes, that's an RPG. Pokemon RPG. Yeah, there's something like sweet about an RPG, and that's kind of why I need to get a mic and everything else so I can set up from my computer. But once I get that set up, I do plan on continuing it this way. The deluxe suite, Mr. Briscoletti. I don't know if he's supposed to be Italian or just like foreign in some way. You meet 2 of the wives, future wives here. By the way, you're not a kid the whole game. Not to spoil anything, but you are not a kid the entire game. You're not getting married as a kid. And there's some cool little jokes in here, and of course this one's the one that's getting made into a movie as well. And if any of you have seen it, I don't remember what they're calling it at the moment, but it's got me really excited to see like the movie just in general, because like it just brings so many chills and just brings back memories of all that. And I'm not sure what else to really say about the movie, because I see a lot of stuff complaining about the new art style. It's not the Akira Toriyama art style. Attributes. Oh, you don't get to see like his little thing, like his little portrait. But but a lot of it's just like kind of whatever. Oh yeah, I got to talk to the cat. This cabin? I haven't been here yet. Yes. And man, it's been so long, and this I'm just thinking about all the time, like times back then. Poor dog. Oh man. Just like stuff like you're just a dumb kid, basically. Like everything, the punchline whenever you read something, like a lot of the books you'll read at this point in time, will be like, it's a joke book. And it's like, and it tells you some joke that even we don't entirely get. Like some of it I didn't really get, but I was also 8, so I was also a dumb kid. And so basically, a lot of it's just kind of like, it's not really so much of a dumb kid as you don't understand a lot of stuff because you are a kid. You know, I think they say you're like 4, maybe 5. I believe that's the whole situation. There we go. It's just nice to talk to everybody. And man, I lose my train of thought and say "and" all the time. I need to work on that. But regardless, so yeah, playing this kind of reminds me of dang, I wish I could stop saying for once in my life. I was really about to be like, but uh, damn it. Anyways, so stuff like in the orphanage, I don't remember why, But one time I decided I'm going to get into the fish tank because it was in the middle of third grade and I had gotten back from school, and I think it was like, what's it called? Some sort of, man, I can't remember, but it's like a huge, like, plate at field day. Field day. That's what it is. Field day is what it's called. And when you do field day, you just kind of play a bunch of games. You get pretty dirty. At least around here, that's what we do. And so, good old South United States. And so doing like field day, you get dirty, and I'm like, I need a bath. And instead of going to take a bath, I decided, oh, let's get into the fish tank. Because at least I'll have buddies with me that way. And so I got in bad trouble with the lady named Jerica. I think he's definitely supposed to be Italian given his references, but like a lot of times he'll say like stuff that has like that's written in a way that it's like Spanish. Yes, I checked everything. Yes, ready to disembark. Hi ho, neighborinos. But anyways, so stuff like that. Like just looking at this game and just like seeing the movie trailers. That's what I think about that a lot. Those sort of memories. There's not a ton of them because I was only there for like 3 months while we were pending on the because of my mother. We were pending on my grandmother to adopt me. Um, my little brother or my little half brother, my little brother, regardless, it doesn't matter what you call him. That's just my brother. But anyways, he got put in there first because he was born that year, like in March, and that was like near the end of the school year when all that stuff happened. And so, man, I cannot think whenever I can't multitask. And so then my sister, my only full-blooded sibling or whatever you want to call it, for I guess for context and just kind of talking, but she was 2 or 3. I think she was 2, because normally she's 6 years younger than me. Yeah, she would have been 2 because her birthday hadn't hit yet. And so, so, so she stayed in there for like a week or two, and then I stayed in there for like a month. I, I think I stayed in there for like 2 months at most. A slime. So this is what the battle looks like. Normally on the DS, where the battle is happening is on the bottom screen, and then you have like the little picture up there. Those pictures right there would be on the top, and it would be on like the top screen, and it'd be like a lot bigger, and you can see better. It reminds me a lot of some fun stuff. Pancraz's level is 27, and so the fake birthday and fake name I'd use were so like when I was like 13 and exploring myself and how I felt about the other gender as a straight male, I decided, well, I can't make it October 5th. They'll figure me out somehow. I don't know why I thought that. October 5th is my actual birthday, but I made my birthday May 27th, like 1990, I think. I was 13, so yeah, that would have been way more than 5 years. And I just made like a round number like that for any sort of site that I decided to use and make like a thing for. And so it was just May 27th the other day, and so I was thinking about that. Oh, it's so funny. thinking about like that's the reason why I chose the 27th. And years later, I met a guy online called Leo, and he has like this upset. I don't know if it's like an obsession, but he's a cool dude. And I met him in like one of the Paper Mario fan base places. Shout outs to Fat Guy 703's Discord because that's where I met him, and he was like all fanatic about the number 27, and so that just makes me think about this game, and I guess that's just something. I'm not sure why I equate it that way. I guess since this game's just like in such a special spot in my brain, I guess that it's just real tucked away, and so anything I remember seeing here just like reminds me so much of it. Ah, yes, there's Sancho. Now I know he's like Hispanic or something. It's good to see Sancho. He's like the town hero, and I think he's sort of like the mayor sort of person. There's Bianca. I think this is when they talk about the age. It may not be 4, actually. Now I'm trying to think about it, and it's like 7 and 8. And I was like, cool, that's how old I am, and all that when I was a kid. Sure, let's go and play. And now it's weird because I kind of equate a lot of this. Sure. Oh no, he's 6. That's crazy. This is like lore. Like years later, you get to read this book again, and it's like lore, but it's like tattered to the point to where you can't read it completely, which is pretty cool. But you can read more than she could with it. What? Look, a leather hat. Um, Chingwei. But yeah, this is pretty neat. Just coming back to this really is just like the coolest thing. Oh, and for today, I'm not in some weird parking lot. I'm not like in a weird spot. Like I think I've discussed how I recorded the Mother 3 stuff in a Burger King parking lot because my cousin used to work at Burger King and I was picking him up for work. And since I was picking him up for work, I just decided, well, let's record this with my pals Chatman, Auroral Radiance. I cannot speak. Ho ho ho. Wait. Oh. Can't quit the pot lid. Use. Because we're probably going to need it for the time being. I don't really think too hard about what items I use on people. But back to what I was talking about before I rudely interrupted myself. There was, can't remember if there is something down here. It's like a stone or something, Wilbroke stone. I can't remember if it becomes important. I think it just becomes a knickknack. I'm not sure if the knickknack stuff's going to be in here, but that'd be cool if it was. And so, eventually I'll get back on topic. Yeah, he's like it's dangerous. I think he says something like it's dangerous in there. Oh yeah. And part of Pokemon, I recorded in a Wendy's parking lot. So someday, if I ever, I don't know, I don't know if I really want to make it big doing this, because I'm kind of going to college, and that kind of put all those studies to shame, instead of being an English teacher and translator. And so if I end up not using it, I'll be kind of upset. I probably should have got the other stuff in town, but I didn't think about it too hard. That's what I need to do. I keep tapping my screen like it's going to make the battle go faster. But but today, not a weird spot. Just sitting in my room recording this. Um, which is a lot more comfortable than sitting in my car in like a parking lot and having stuff go by. You can probably hear some background noise like my air conditioning going because it's really hot. The South is like the hottest place on earth during the summer. I feel like I'm melting. 1 point of damage. 2 points of damage. What is it? Sesame Street? 1 2 What? Count Dracula? What is that even his name? Like, they could just call him Count Dracula because he's Count and he's like a vampire. Yeah, I definitely need to get some stuff. Let's get something. I don't want to end this yet, even though it's probably been a while. But I want to at least like cover some ground and get to it. I know it's been a while since I've uploaded anything, and I'm sorry. But yeah, I think the last episode I recorded, I said I'm gonna have a lot more free time because I had Christmas break and all that. But I ended up, I wanted to do some charity work, or I wanted to, and I was gonna go a little far out to do it. And then life stuff happens, and so I moved out of my grandmother's house, moved in with my dad, and so I've been there for a while, and I'm signed up for school again next semester, so I didn't end up doing my my stuff, like the charity work that I wanted to do. But you know, stuff works out somehow or another, and hopefully I can do more charity work in the future, because I'm not entirely sure if being a teacher is really exactly what I want to do, but that's just something that I can do without having to pay travel expenses and all that mess. And so basically it became like a whole shebang of, well, guess I gotta deal with a lot of stuff. But but since I can still go back to school, it's not a huge deal. Like, I already have all my English credits I need. I'm shifting focus with a lot of stuff because I was taking Spanish, and I've kind of gotten to the point to where I think I just want to be an English teacher and decide on other languages after the fact. And so, it's kind of hard to gather my thoughts about the whole situation because it's still like an ongoing thing. Like, I can look in the past and think a lot about stuff, but just kind of thinking about what's going on right now, it's kind of hard to gather my thoughts about everything because I can sit here and say that's life all I want, but that doesn't necessarily mean anything, if that makes any sense. I can't remember if I broke that stuff before, but it's broke again now. And I'm trying to make sure I don't mumble because I have a bad problem with mumbling. At work, I work at a retail store, and so I try to avoid mumbling. So I talk higher pitch, and it sounds a lot worse in my opinion, but everyone hears me better. But I just kind of want to be comfortable, I suppose, when I'm talking or anything else like that. And aside from all that, with college and everything else, I'd like to just apologize, I suppose, for taking so long to when I had all that time, but basically working and everything else just got ahead of everything because I was working constantly and didn't have much time. And but now I've got the free time, while since it's summer and we have actual people to work and everything else. And since I moved like 30 minutes away from where I work. And the only issue right now is I'm trying to get a transfer. And then there's an online thing, like an online, like I can take pretty much all my classes online except for my science classes from college. So I'm doing that and then taking my science in the next summer is basically the plan. And I just need 2 more science credits, I believe. I might need more, but as far as I know, I just need 2 more. And it feels like everybody's going to elementary education, but I was going, I was planning on going like middle or high school education. Just simply because I don't want to deal with teaching a bunch of kids like such basic English, and because I don't feel like I'm very good with kids, and I feel like middle school will be the same issue, and teenagers are difficult, but like to me, because even as a teenager, I don't think I was an adult quite yet, but I didn't feel like I had that same intense angst. Just like my parents suck, but I guess you can't really have like my parents suck when you don't really have parents, or at least like I, I'm not sure. As I've grown older, it's not been I hate my mom or anything for what she did, but it's just been like it's kind of disappointing, I suppose, in that regard. It's just like, well, cool. I'm alone now, but life has worked out pretty well despite all that. And so it's not like it's the worst thing to ever happen to me. And my grandmother wasn't the worst. I mean, there's some bad stuff there, but she wasn't exactly the worst either. I just don't really feel like talking about that too much in detail because that's just kind of depressing in a lot of ways. But it felt like a lot of people, because I went to a pretty higher up school. Like we were number like 5 in the state or something like that. It's not like a private school or anything, but it's just like a lot of people were rich, and we came from like a pretty wealthy part, even though Mississippi is like the poorest state. So let's check, see how much gold we have. 71. Cool. Um, but aside from all that, well, not aside from all that, and according with that, it's just like, well, cool. I'm here, and it's just like everybody had. I wouldn't say rich parents, but I knew a kid whose dad had, like his family had 3 like private jets and planes and stuff, and his dad was in the military, knew how to fly a plane, saying had to pay for anybody. And it's like, cool, you have private jets. I was in an orphanage, that's not feeling sorry for us, or I don't mean it to sound like I'm boo-hoo, poor me. It's just like, so your parents don't want you to do meth, that's cool. That's what my mom did, and that's why I was in an orphanage. I would say you probably shouldn't do meth. That's the kind of thing I felt with a lot of stuff in high school. It's just like everybody wants to be so different and wants to feel like they're different, and in the end, they're just it feels like everybody's just another generation stupid people making stupid mistakes all the time. It doesn't feel like anybody's really different in that regard. It's like everybody tries so hard to be different that they become more of the same. And it's like you shouldn't. I don't think you should be try to be different. I think the main thing you should try to do is be yourself. To be honest, because I wasn't very comfortable with myself a lot of the times. I was very quiet. I found it very hard to talk about a lot of stuff because I always felt like nobody would be interested in what I had to say or anything along those lines. You know, just that sort of thing. I didn't feel like anybody would be interested in any of it. So it came to a point to where it was just, well, I'm just gonna start saying it. Like, you know, if they hate it, they hate it. They like it, they like it. And I kind of found that most people found me funny and different in that regard. It's so much like, it sounds like such a sappy thing to say, just be yourself. But really, you shouldn't try to be different. And especially if you're trying to be different, don't try to fit in. Like, don't force yourself to fit in or change yourself. And I don't think you should be going around saying how different you are or anything along those lines. Because that makes you more annoying than different. And I was in band, and there were so many of, it was like, I don't know if it was a girl thing, but it felt like it was just so many girls doing that. And I don't know if it's just, I don't know what it was. I really didn't. It was like, I guess it's just how I grew up, how it is nowadays. And I feel really old the way I speak about it, but I didn't feel like I related to a lot of people in that regard because everybody was like, well, I'm so different. And then the guys were just, it's just kind of like a fuckboy fest. It's just whoever get into the different girls' pants the quickest. And I'm not going to say I wasn't a fuckboy because I definitely was early high school because that's the way everyone else was, and that's why I was like, oh, that's what I'm supposed to be. Every time a girl likes me, you just say you like them back, and you do what you gotta do to get in there. And that's not exactly how I thought about it, but once once I thought critically of myself, that's really what it was. It wasn't that I liked any of them, really. I thought they were attractive on the outside, and they said they liked me. So this is never going to happen again. So obviously, go for it. And it and I feel like I hear that same like sort of thing a lot from other people. Everybody sounds like they've had that same sort of experience where they're just like just getting everybody's pants as quick as possible. You know, and it's just like it's such a weird thing to me now to think that that's the way things are. Girls want to be so different, and guys just want to get in every different girl's pants. And it's like, but they're all the same. They're all pretending to be whatever. And as I've gotten into college, some people have stayed that same way. And as I've gotten, it's like some girls are still like, well, I'm different from your average girl, and it's dumb. It's just kind of dumb to me. And then some guys are still like trying to pull on charm in different ways. And it's not bad to pull on some sort of charm, but it's just like, just grow up. Like, be yourself. Instead of, you know, showing off like money and everything else. Like I don't know if it's like a jealousy thing because I never really could do that. Didn't have abs or anything. I was just kind of it's kind of like the awkward guy that people like for no apparent reason. It's that same sort of vibe I give off. I think that's the exact vibe. It's like it's almost like a pity thing. I feel like because it's like, oh, he has a sad past. Like his mom did drugs and now then he was in an orphanage and now he's like whatever. He's probably got all these mental issues and I can fix them, and I hate that. I hate that a lot because that gives you a lot of that makes me feel worse than anything, really. But uh, so it's just. But once I got to college, it's just like most of them, not all, but most of them, started changing. They made new friends. You make your own path in life, and you figure it out. You figure life out a little bit. You figure yourself out. You don't figure it out completely, and I don't think we ever will. Any of us, really. But I think once you figure yourself out, you can learn to be content with not knowing about life, really. And so I think that's the main point of a lot of stuff, is just to learn to be content and learn to be yourself. And the quicker you can sort of look at yourself critically and do that, is the quicker you can really get there, I think. I know it's kind of boring right now watching this gameplay, because there's not a whole lot going on, but I'm just trying to level up to like level 5 before I continue going, because I'm going to need it for the future. But anyways, so I guess I'll end this here. Say goodbye to a little coffee, a tiny cup of joe, half a shot of espresso. Um, I don't have a name for fans or anything like that, but we've been going on for a good while. So you can see my phone screen up top. That's kind of cool. Glad that's evident. But hope you all have a good rest of your day. My voice is hurting and my throat is hurting because I never talked this much in my life. So goodbye. Oh no.